The Democratic Alliance leader, John Steenhuisen, says he's ready to unveil the party's election manifesto at the Union Buildings in Pretoria this morning. The launch will come ahead of the 2024 national and general elections. Party members will gather in central Pretoria, from where they will march to the Union Buildings for the launch of the document, which the party says will outline its plan to rescue South Africa. The Democratic Alliance says it is prepared to host over 15,000 supporters. For more on the Democratic Alliance Election Manifesto Launch, we have a team of reporters in Pretoria, and we'll start with Natasha Piri. She will be joined by Kenny Mapanga and as well as Nozintombi Mia. Natasha, thank you so much for joining us. Just give us an update of what's happening right now.
Well, thank you so much, Simpiwe. As you can see behind me, of course, preparations are underway. The stage is set, and the program, just a reminder, they will actually start at 11, as my colleagues Nozintombi Mia and Kenny Mapanga are in central Pretoria Church Square, and that is where John Steenhuisen, the leader of the Democratic Alliance, will be leading supporters and members of the DA right here to the Citadel of Power at the Union Building lawns. But just to take this conversation further and to engage further where we left the conversation from, I'm joined again by Dr. Levy Ndou. Dr. Ndou, it's quite ironic that, the DA always says that, where they lead, they govern well. In the city of Tshwane yesterday, the municipality was given yesterday to actually explain why its expenditure of conditional grants was actually less than 40%. And yet you have a DA leader that is going to come to the very municipality and deliver, the party's manifesto. What do you think he's going to say to the people of Tshwane? Because the people of Tshwane are complaining about service delivery. Some don't even have, proper abolition facilities in some of the townships here in Tshwane.
Tshwane, for me, remains a dent on the leadership or the governance of municipalities under the Democratic Alliance. And the collapse of services in the city of Tshwane does not need a very difficult work to do. You just move around the city, you see how things have actually collapsed. And my sense is that coming to the city of Tshwane by the Democratic Alliance, where they're actually not doing well, could serve two things. One would be for them to say they've identified areas where they're not doing good, and they could be having a plan to make things better. Or number two, they could also be saying that because they're not governing alone, there could be other issues that relate to the governance, because maybe other parties should be part of the frustrations. But it also talks to how the Democratic Alliance is navigating on matters relating to the governance of coalitions. Because it is not only in Tshwane where there are challenges with governance, it is also happening with other areas. And you also need the Democratic Alliance to come out to the public and say, indeed, we have a plan to deal with the governance issues that they have.
Let's talk about other municipalities. I mean, last year we saw two DA mayors being ousted in Ekurhuleni, in Johannesburg. What does that mean for the Democratic Alliance?
Well, firstly, the coalitions remains a new terrain in the South African politics and governance. And in some instances, you have a situation where those that are leading these coalitions would assume the big brother tendencies, and other coalition partners will feel isolated in terms of decision making. But also at the same time, you have a situation where the priorities of different political parties differ. And that is what creates constant conflict in the running of these different coalitions. And it is an area that does not only need the Democratic Alliance, but now that the DA is the one that is in charge or heading most of these coalitions, all people would say, give us a plan, and a better plan on how these coalitions are supposed to be managed better. And that is exactly what I would expect that the leadership of the DA should touch on as we move forward, because there has been a constant talk by members from different political parties saying that coalition is the future. And indeed, you expect these politicians to have a better plan on how to manage these coalitions.
You talk about a better plan on how to manage these coalitions. Just frankly, are South Africans actually ready for coalitions? Because they are so unstable at, a local government level. You come to think of national level right now. What are we looking at?
It's quite unfortunate that coalitions are imposed on the political parties by ordinary voters. And my sense is that it is up to the political parties themselves to sit down and say, what do we do now that we are forced to work together? I expect them to put their differences aside and work in the best interest of the citizens. And what we are seeing, which is the collapse of governance, which is conflict and infighting that are quite not necessary, is something that should actually come to an end, and have these political leaders bringing their heads together and develop a program that must assist the ordinary citizens.
Mr. Ndou, of course, we will continue with these conversations as we give our viewers rolling coverage of what is actually happening here at the Union Buildings. I believe my colleague Kenny Mapanga is on standby at Church Square. And Kenny, we know that the march is about to commence at 10 a.m. Do you have any guests with you? Tell us what's happening on your side.
There at Union Buildings. We continue to give you rolling coverage here from Church Square. Now we are still awaiting those tens of thousands that will arrive here ahead of that march to Union Buildings, where DA leader John Steenhuisen will be giving that plan to quote-unquote rescue South Africa. Now his address comes at a critical time where a lot of citizens have become disillusioned with the 30 years of democracy and are looking for change and are looking for solutions. Now many opposition parties are going to try and grab their stake in South Africa's democracy at the 2024 polls. But to help us understand why the DA believes citizens should believe they are the viable alternative, I'm joined by Dr. Ivan Meyer, the DA's federal chair here at Church Square, to elaborate further on the plan that John Steenhuisen will outline today. If you could summarize why exactly South Africans must look at the DA as a viable alternative during such a critical time where we really are looking for answers and we're looking for them immediately. What would you highlight from Steenhuisen's Rescue South Africa plan that we expect to hear later today?
Well, this is a critical period in the history of South Africa, because in the last 30 years, South Africa has become, under the ANC, a failed state, a criminal state, and a mafia state. And so for us, it is important that we must rescue South Africa. What does this imply? Firstly, since we are walking from Church Square to the Union Buildings, nothing is more important for us than to build a capable state. To rescue South Africa, you need to build a capable state, an ethical state, a state that certainly cares for the people, that don't steal the taxpayers' money. So the first order of business is to build a capable state. Secondly, and that is what John Steenhuisen will be talking about, but to build a capable state, you need to appoint people that's fit for purpose, not cadre deployment, because under the ANC we have seen cadres in Eskom and Transnet. Nothing is working in state-owned entities because of cadre deployment. We will table a bill that will outlaw cadre deployment under the new government in the Union Building. So that is the first order of business. But secondly, we need an honest and ethical government. But also what we want to do today, we know the three big issues facing all South Africans: load shedding, unemployment. 60% of the youth of South Africa are unemployed. But the third biggest issue is crime. So you will be hearing from our manifesto what we will be doing in terms of the issue of crime, crime prevention, the strategies that we have employed already in the city of Cape Town, bringing down crime. But you will also hear about load shedding, what the city of Cape Town, the Western Cape government is already doing. In fact, we have already announced one town free from load shedding. But that's not enough. We want to make South Africa free from load shedding, because we need economic growth to create jobs. But you cannot have economic growth with load shedding. In fact, South Africa is losing 900 million rand a day as a result of load shedding. So we will be tackling the issue of load shedding. When the rest of South Africa is under stage 4 load shedding, Cape Town is under stage 2 or load shedding. We can beat load shedding in South Africa, but also for us it's important to stabilize our debt. The current debt levels in South Africa, we have a budget deficit of 6%. We have a debt to GDP almost 80%. We need to fix the economy, fix the state, and we need to bring services to the people of South Africa.
Now, I see you mentioning some of the achievements in the areas which you govern. We know that this is an opportunity for the DA to go beyond the Western Cape province and its municipalities. However, there is a perceptions surrounding that governance, and you are trying to attract the vote of the black and the marginalized. What do you say or speak to those perceptions regarding the DA and how it governs in the Western Cape and the fears it has created amongst voters if they were to govern elsewhere?
Well, the first thing that I think I want to promise voters across South Africa, that the Democratic Alliance is a party for all the people. We have also a number of black mayors in the Western Cape, all over South Africa. We see the best run municipality in this province of Gauteng is in Midvaal. I was there yesterday. Then afterwards I went to Mfuleni. Absolute shocking. I went to Ward 21 where the mayor of the ANC is living. The place is falling apart, no refuge collection. Under the Democratic Alliance, you can expect water, sanitation, refuge collection. For us, those are critical because every morning people need that. And so we know that people living in urban areas have already abandoned the ANC. The ANC has not a control of any major metropolitan areas in South Africa. There are 8 metropolitan areas, and I think the voters of South Africa have seen the results.
Thank you so much. That was Dr. Ivan Meyer. The DA remains determined to present itself today as a viable alternative for South Africans ahead of the 2024 polls. Now, as I said, my colleague Nozintombi Mia remains in the vicinity here at Church Square. Nozintombi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kenny. We're saving the best for last where we're standing. We just spied one bus of supporters making its way towards Church Square, and I do have with me a supporter that's been here from early in the morning, Tatetaba, in his DA regalia. Thank you so much for joining me. You're looking forward to this march today. Why are you participating in it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because obviously as a DA we are saying we are ready to rescue South Africa. And of course, who can say no to Master KG and Sigi Joanne in the house and Catherine and the others? I'm so looking forward to that.
So not only is it just a march to help revolutionize the country, but it's also a march of vibe as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be vibey. It's going to be exciting. I mean, I can't wait.
Can't wait. I love your outfit. Tell me, how did you get your outfit? I'm going to ask my camera colleague Sandile to show you that the Tawa's outfit has got this adorable DA hat. Where'd you get the hat, the shirt, the shoes? Everything is in order.
Yeah, look, I think obviously the blue shoes. We are turning this country blue. And then we've got obviously this hat. Not only serves especially in this heat, but it's colorful. It's rainbow colors. We are a rainbow nation. We are a rainbow party. And of course, the shirt really just complements everything together.
And the shoes as well.
Yeah, the shoes, of course.
Show me your march stance. How are you going to be marching? How are you going to be marching?
My march stance, actually, because we're rescuing South Africa, this is what we're doing today.
Yes, we love that. Ntaletawa, come this side. Thank you. I love that. Look at you. Do a little twirl for us there. Aren't you a little princess? What's your name, my darling?
My name is Karabo.
Look at this beautiful outfit. How did you come up with the concept of this?
I thought, so we are church squaring, but we're vibing, right? So we're protesting at the same time. We're excited to rescue South Africa and take over the country. So it's like, let's celebrate with the tutu, but have a shirt on to have it cool and tackies and hit the streets running. So that was the concept.
Where did you get the tutu?
I got it from Luffy D. Shout out to my girls. They always sort me out. Luffy D in Braamfontein. Hit them up on Instagram, on social.
Enough of the advertising. That's lovely. This is beautiful. Give us another twirl again and show us what is your protest march stance going to be?
No, so the knees have to be up. So the tutu covers the knees, you can't see it. But
so you have to lift the tutu up. You have to lift it up.
No, we're not going to lift the tutu up because then we're pretty much going to be naked. But then we're going to, we'll be marching 90 degrees 100% because it's very important, because as much as this is a vibey march for us and we're excited, we're going to have lineups that are pretty amped up. It's a serious thing. It's a serious message that we're sending out to every supporter out there and every South African who says that they are tired of living in a country where there's load shedding, where there are no jobs, where corruption is plaguing each and every department. Maladministration is taking over everything, right? So we're saying that we have a government that is ready, that has a plan that will rescue South Africa and has shown that it has the capacity to rescue South Africa.
Karabo, give us your last twirl. Thank you, darling. Give us your last twirl as she walks out of the shot there. Before my camera colleague Sandile Mkhunu comes to me, I just want to show you the bus that's just arrived here. This is one of the buses that are anticipated to start making their way towards Church Square. You can see that some of the supporters are really starting to trickle in. We do know that the supporters are expected to start making their way here to Church Square from about 9 o'clock. The march itself will start moving at about 10 o'clock. But we are seeing all the different outfits from all the different supporters. A tutu as well as a multicolored hat. And this seems to be the theme so far this morning here outside Church Square as we're waiting for the DA supporters who are participating in this, as they call it, historic march to transform the nation, heading towards the Union buildings where they'll be listening to the manifesto from their leaders' studio.
All right, Nozintombi, thank you so much for that update. Nozintombi Mia there, and she was joined by Kenny Mapanga and as well as Natasha Piri will certainly be joined by Mzwandile Mbeja, our SABC political editor, and my colleague Sakina Kamwendo from 9 o'clock for a deeper conversation as the DA is ready to launch its manifesto a little later on.